Welcome to Skin Deep with your host, Sharon Morton. She's scratching below the surface and bringing you the power to make informed decisions about what's in our food, water, and products that we bring into our homes that affect our bodies. It's a show that will help you heal your mind, body, and soul. So stay tuned for all things that are skin deep.
Welcome to Skin Deep. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and guess what? I have my guest co-host and kindness coach with me today, Sonny Waterhouse, on the show. How are you, Sonny?
I'm great. So great to be here.
Yes, it is. It's a good day. And guess what? It's a good day to talk about self-care and self-love here on Skin Deep. We're going to go deep with some questions and some answers and some advice on how we need to take better care of ourselves, right, Sonny?
Exactly. You know, we spend so much time running around these days.
Definitely.
We don't spend as much time taking care of ourselves as we need to.
Yeah, and especially women, right? We're always taking care of everybody else.
Always.
And it really affects our health. People don't understand when you are stressed out, you're not taking care of yourself, you are actually doing a disservice to your health.
There's so many more women that are dying from heart attacks because of stress than men because of that very reason.
Yeah, heart disease, high cholesterol. There's so many things that go into or come from what I should say is stress. And women especially have to be cognizant of the importance of self-care and self-love, right?
You know, what we do is we spend a lot of time taking care of others. We make sure the kids have everything they need from the book bags,
the lunches, PTA meetings,
sending emails,
homework, and working full-time.
Right. And then if we're married,
that's another job.
We've gone to the dry cleaner. We've picked up his suits. We have everything he needs.
We've made dinner. Yes.
Exactly.
But you know what? It's so interesting. Even when you get on an airplane, the stewardess says what? Save yourself first. Put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because you cannot take care of anyone else if you don't.
But we forget that so often. We are always trying to put everybody else's mask on, and we're
choking.
We're choking.
Well, guess what? We're not going to choke today. We are going to talk about how important it is to care for yourself, to love yourself, to respect yourself, your body, your temple. And we want to make certain that we're helping you out there. Any of you who are listening to Skin Deep, we want you to stay tuned, because we're going to have some really good information, Sonny and I. So we'll be right back after these messages here on Skin Deep. Welcome back to Skin Deep here on Sirius XM Channel 141, HUR Voices. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and sitting in the studio with me today is my guest co-host. She is a kindness coach, Sonny Waterhouse. Kindness, Kindness. Sonny, that is such a wonderful thing to be, a kindness coach. What exactly does that entail? Because as you know, we're talking about self-love and self-care, and being kind to yourself is part of that.
Exactly. So many people have no idea what that means. I have spent my life being a person that empowers and uplifts others to be their best self. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very easy for me to do that. I've spent my life in film and television. Mm-hmm. I have a technology background. I even have a master's of divinity.
Wow.
Along with a master's in PR. Yes, I'm
overeducated. Yes.
I'm overeducated. But I'm from DC, so I know the streets here in DC, and I also know that it's so important for us to take time and breathe.
And, you know, this is a health and wellness show. We focus on beauty, health, and wellness. And, of course, beauty is only skin deep. And part of being and feeling beautiful is to exhale and to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And so tell our listeners why that's so important.
That is so important because if we run around making sure that everybody else is amazing, but yet when you look at us, we're
When you look at
particularly caregivers, research shows that caregivers normally die before the people they're taking care of.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that means that we have given everything out for the person that needs to get taken to the doctors, needs to go to the parent meeting, needs to
Girl Scouts, swimming, ballet.
But yet, and we will also make sure they go to the dentist.
Right.
Also make sure they get their prostate exam done. But when was the last time we got a mammogram?
Right.
When was the last time we went to the dentist?
Yeah.
We will walk around with that toothache for months.
Yeah, you're right. And we tend to forget that. You know what else? I think this is a problem. Not a problem, but I think this is a concern, especially for women. A lot of times we get self-care and rest, which is a gift that you talk about. We get that confused with being lazy. We think that if we take a break, if we rest, if we're not doing or being all things to all people, somehow we're being lazy. How do you dispel that myth?
I was thinking about what you were saying. We have this myth of being superwoman, that we have to fry up the
bring home the bacon, right.
First shop for it.
Right.
No. First kill the cow. All right. Then go ahead and cure it. Hang it on the ceiling, on the hook.
meat hook.
Right. And then we fry it up. Then we serve it up. Then we wash the dishes.
Yeah.
So yes, we can have everything, but not at one time. Not at one time.
That's the key.
I think it's important for us to have self-kindness. What does it mean to have self-kindness?
To be kind to yourself? And what does that entail?
Well, when we think about it, the first thing that reminds me is that how it's important to first recognize this. It's important to release all negative self-talk or criticism.
Self-criticism, which is a big thing a lot of times in all of our heads, men and women. We're constantly either criticizing ourselves or doubting ourselves, or like you said, negative talk in our head, talking to ourselves negatively. Yeah, you're saying get rid of that.
Right. We need to get rid of that. I mean, a lot of that comes from conditioning, the way we were brought up.
Yeah.
Maybe
the world telling us that we're not good enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some of us have a shame riddled past from people, caregivers, teachers that told us you were not this or you were not that. You should this, you should that.
Yeah.
And we carry that into our adult life and think that this is how we really operate in the world. But in reality, we have nothing to prove that that's true.
When you say nothing to prove that that's true, you mean nothing to say that we are what? We are more than what they say we are.
Exactly. Okay. Because we were born good enough. Because we exist, we are good enough.
But unless you have someone telling you that on a regular basis, it's really hard to think like that every day, because you go out into the world. The world is no joke.
It's cruel.
It's tough, and you have to have a really tough and strong exterior, and especially if you grew up in a tough place and you had to develop this tough exterior. I want to touch on something you talked about earlier in terms of caregivers. A lot of times caregivers, like you said, die before the person that they are caring for. That is so scary because it's very stressful being a caregiver. How should caregivers de-stress? What would you say is one of the main things that they should do?
A lot of times caregivers do not take time to get a respite. That's when you can have other people come in and they can take care of someone who needs help. But also, if you're not just necessarily taking care of someone who's ill, but time that you take for yourself. Meditation is a great opportunity to take time for yourself. Going outside for a walk is a great opportunity to do something for yourself. Also, saying intentions, particularly affirmations in the morning, or just just stealing away time and saying some affirmations for yourself where you're actually doing some breathing exercises are incredible for your own self. And it does some amazing things for your own brain, because when you breathe correctly, you are putting more oxygen in your brain. And so your brain has received more oxidization. And then you can think higher and on a way that really, really helps you understand more and see more into the world than you could have imagined.
Oh, wow. And a lot of people listening might say, well, I don't know anything about breathing exercises or meditation. There are so many resources on the internet. You can go to YouTube and you can see all kinds of meditations and affirmations and yoga. Yoga's also good.
Absolutely.
There's no excuse not to steal away 15, 20, 30 minutes out of a 24-hour day. 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. There's no reason why everyone shouldn't do that and give themselves the gift of rest, like you talk about.
Exactly. And with the breathing, it's something as simple as doing a simple count of 1 to 10 and breathing slowly and counting 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, and then doing it again. And then doing it again, and making sure that each breath is a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And before you know it, you've counted to 10. And then another thing that we can do to be kind to ourselves is go to bed at night.
Oh my God, sleep.
Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this sometimes. I'm so bad at this. But you can give yourself the gift of rest. Do you know if you do not get 6 to 8 hours of rest, you are setting yourself up for a quick Alzheimer's?
Not only that, you're setting yourself up for so many illnesses because there are a lot of people who are insomniacs and they don't get the proper amount of rest, and it leads to so many other things, unfortunately, so many other health issues. People don't realize that sleep is really medicine. It's the opportunity for your body to decompress, to revive itself, to it's going through a reawakening.
Exactly.
And you need that rest so that you can be a better person the next day. And it's like getting a whole new chance all over again.
Exactly.
To do better.
Exactly. It does wonders for your brain to rest.
To sleep, yes. I love sleep, as you know, Sonny. I've taken naps since I was a kid. I was not one of those kids when my mother said, okay, it's time to take a nap. I didn't get upset. I was happy. And I took that habit, which I think is a good habit, to nap. I took it all the way to college with me. I remember being in college. I was addicted to this soap opera called General Hospital. Okay, and I don't know if I should date myself, but back then, this storyline was around this couple, Luke and Laura. Yes. And girl, I would take a nap before General Hospital came on. I would plan my classes around my nap time. That's how important naps were to me. And still are to this day.
Well, you know what? You could tell because you look amazing.
Thank you.
Because, you can really tell people that spend time giving themselves the gift of rest.
Yes.
Because when you give yourself sleep, you don't age.
Oh, and okay.
You don't age as fast.
We know this is radio, but go ahead and tell me again, Sonia.
Oh, you look good, girl. You look good.
Yeah. So, sleep is just imperative to a healthy lifestyle. It's imperative to good health and wellness, and that's what this show is all about here on Skin Deep.
And I also have to say this other thing about self-kindness. You can also give yourself the gift of kindness if you
do what?
If you eat to live.
Eat to live.
If you eat to live.
Yes, and we're going to talk some more about that because, as you know, I had a raw foodist and juice bar owner on the other show, one of the shows, Kepra Anu. And that's what he devotes his life to, helping people to eat well so that they can live well.
Exactly. It's so good to eat to feed your cells.
Yeah, your cells.
Your cells.
cells.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because
in addition to your cells.
Absolutely. Because I'm telling you, when I have a cold or a flu, I don't want a potato chip cell fighting for me.
You don't want a potato cell fighting for you. You want
Right.
some coconut water.
Yeah.
You want
Some kale.
Some kale.
Exactly.
You want some anything green with lots of
Absolutely.
nutrients.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So on the other side of the break, we're definitely going to talk about how eating well contributes to your self-care and your self-love. So listen, I want you to stay right there. We are coming right back here on Skin Deep on HUR Voices, Sirius XM, Channel 141.
Skin Deep will be right back with a show you can't afford to miss after these messages.
And welcome back to Skin Deep. I'm your host, Sharon Morton, and I was talking to kindness coach Sonny Waterhouse, who is we're enjoying a great conversation on self-care and self-love and how important that is. So before we left for the break, we were talking about eating well, and Sonny was saying, if she has the flu or a cold, she doesn't want to depend on fast food or potato chips to take care of that cold. You're talking about eating plant-based foods, that are nutrient and vitamin rich, that come from the ground or the tree, right, Sonny?
Exactly. I said how important it is to eat foods that feed our cells, cells.
Yes.
We spend a lot of time eating a whole lot of stuff, but it's important that we eat food that does something for us, not to us.
Oh, good point. Because so many foods have so many antibiotics and chemicals and everything in them. They're definitely changing our cells, cells, and not for the better. It's always a good thing if you're just starting out like me. I've been a vegetarian for about 6 months now, and before then I still ate very well, very healthy. I just had to, step away from the chicken. It took me a little bit longer to step away from the chicken. And now that I'm totally plant-based, I feel so much better. And I think eating well is part of that whole self-care, self-love regimen.
I definitely agree with you, Sharon. I have been a vegetarian, I know,
For years, right?
Years and years. I think the last time I had some beef was probably 30 years ago.
Okay, and I don't eat red meat at all.
Right.
Like I said, the chicken I was struggling with. It was
Right.
on again, off again, vegetarian, on again, off again.
Right.
Now I'm a permanent vegetarian. But you've been doing it
for a
long
over
time.
20 years.
Yeah.
But you know what? When I came home one day and decided for my household, my husband and my 2 little kids, that I was not going to cook any more meat in this house. I mean, that's extreme.
And how did they take that?
My husband was like, "Can we talk about it?" I said, "We're talking about it right now."
And so did they adapt the lifestyle?
They did, because I showed them the YouTube and all of that information, and they were young, so it was easy for them to adapt.
Yeah.
But I really went cold turkey. I would not recommend that for everybody, because that's not everybody's journey.
Yeah.
But I would say to people who want to start start by eating the best meats you can find, because I did still want to go out to dinner with my friends who ate meat. I didn't want to get shunned, because
Right.
I was acting like a zealot, but
Okay.
but still I said, okay, if you're going to do that, let's eat the best. Let's
Okay.
eat the organic. Let's eat the grass fed,
Yeah.
and let's try not to eat it every single meal
That's
and every
right,
single
and
day.
every day.
And so you can add more plant-based diets that don't have meat in them, meals that don't have meat in them by separating and
substituting
some things that are not meat, and you see how you feel, and before you know it, you've gone a whole week without it.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are doing it for Lent as well.
Yeah, for Lent. Oh yeah, and the other thing too is, there's so many choices today with regard to food and substituting meats for meat substitutes that taste good. I mean, some of these meat substitutes, you can't even tell the difference.
They are so good. But I think another thing I also did when starting out is that, yes, I wasn't eating any meats, but I was eating a lot of starches, and I gained a lot of weight.
You know what? I've wondered about that because I have seen a lot of vegetarians that are overweight, and I always thought, okay, if I become a vegetarian, then I can get my youthful figure back. But that is not the case if you're not eating the right kinds of food.
That's so true, because I was a girl that would say, oh, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm going to have macaroni and cheese. I'm going to have broccoli cheese casserole. I'm going to have sweet potato souffle. Oh, it's all vegetarian. Right. And I'm wondering why my thighs are getting bigger, my pants are getting tighter. Yeah. So you can be a starchitarian and gain a lot of weight without ever eating meat. It wasn't until I noticed, oh, I cannot have macaroni and cheese and sweet potato souffle. I cannot have
one or the other, smaller portions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell me something, Sonny, is self-care an ongoing process, or is it just something we should focus on only when we're stressed? Because I tend, I do a lot, and a lot of times I have to catch myself because I'm so stressed. I'm doing so much, and I have to, go into the self-care, self-love mode and meditate. And, I have my room. It's really relaxing. It's a beautiful blue. And I feel like, I pretend like I'm in the Caribbean. And is this self-care an ongoing process, or just when I'm stressed?
I think it's so important for us to really take time to give ourselves self-care every single day. I recently lost about 30 pounds, and a lot of people ask me, how did I do it? And I say, I finally decided to make a commitment to myself, and that I decided to take a look at not so much what I was eating, but what was eating me. That's what I talk to people about all the time. What's eating you?
Okay.
What's eating you to cause you to think that you need to have the pint of chocolate chip ice cream every night?
Yeah, something's bothering you. Now, well, it's good. Chocolate chip ice cream is good, but if you eat the whole thing, it's something else going on usually.
Right. There's a lot going on.
And the other thing I wanted to ask about, sometimes people love themselves. I mean, you should love yourself,
Absolutely.
but how can you tell the difference between self-love and vanity, or being self-obsessed? There's a big difference too, right?
Wow, that's
that's interesting, right?
Yeah, that's interesting to look at it like that, because I think it's important, and it's still women. We're still juggling with this whole idea of self-care, self-kindness, self-love, and I think it's still based in our feeling of self-esteem, our feeling of worthiness.
Yes.
So many times we're struggling with I'm feeling like I'm not enough.
Yes.
So I'm not enough.
Yeah, I'm not slim enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not meeting, the beauty ideals that I see on social media and on television.
Right.
Yeah.
But many times that's enhanced.
Yeah.
And even
that's
having
true.
something that's enhanced, you still could gain weight on top of that. And,
okay. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right. But still, it reminds me, it goes back to what I said before. What's eating you? Because when you find out what's eating you and you spend time with you, take a look inside, examine that, feel it, and then let it go. Then you can grow.
And, speaking of growing, we both are small business owners, and we're growing our businesses. And we know, like many of our listeners who are small business owners, it takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of effort to be your own boss. And a lot of times you lose focus, you lose sight of that whole self-care, self-kindness, self-love thing. So how can you incorporate self-care into your busy schedule as a business owner? some of the things you said earlier, right?
Absolutely.
In terms of, I think you were talking about self affirmations.
Absolutely.
And you were saying something about
Absolutely. It's important to take time every day
to meditate.
I understand that millionaires, they make their schedule for the day the night before, right?
Okay.
And so they already know what their day is going to look like. So when you get up the next morning, first think about spending some time in meditation. Meditate over what you're going to do this day
for your business.
And also take some time and get your affirmations in. I try to say my affirmations at least 3 times a day.
Okay.
Morning, noon, and night. Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Morning, noon, and night. Something as simple as I expect the best. I expect the best today. I'm going to have a successful day. Everyone I need to meet is going to come in my life today.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that. My business is growing exponentially today. I will share my business with 5 people today, and they will want to partner with me.
You're putting it out there.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand what the universe is like. You put it out there and you work toward it, it is going to come back to you.
And I don't say anything out of my mouth I don't want for my life.
Okay. Say that again. Nothing out of your mouth.
I don't say anything out of my mouth
that you don't want for your life.
Exactly.
That is something that we all need to practice. Especially if we get angry or upset.
Exactly.
You want to make certain that the tongue is a sword.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're absolutely right about that.
It's your enemy or your friend?
Your tongue.
Exactly, your tongue. Your tongue is your enemy or your friend.
Okay, well, this was a really important topic that we covered: self-care, self-kindness, and self-love.
I'm so honored to be here.
How can our listeners see you or hear about you on social media?
Well, I'm on IG, NDPR Queen, INDYPR_Queen.
Okay.
On Instagram.
That's wonderful. And what we want you to do is to always listen here on Skin Deep. You can visit our website, skinsodeep.com, and order our natural and organic products that stimulate your good health and wellness. You can hear this and all episodes on SiriusXM Channel 141, also on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and other platforms. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And we're just so happy that you joined us here on Skin Deep. I'm your host, Sharon Morton. Thank you again for listening, and tune in again next week.
This has been Skin Deep with your host, Sharon Morton. Thank you for listening. Tune in again next week for conversations and tips on health and healing of the mind, body, and soul.